couple nights ago a 26-year-old woman who I think is going on to even greater things, and you know because I've made a big deal about this over the last 2 nights. Erin Stewart won the mayoral race in New Britain. This is a large city in Connecticut, ladies and gentlemen. And we now have a Republican mayor of that city, and I think it portends great things for the GOP in Connecticut. Joining me on the hotline right now, this is really my honor to have with me, Your Honor, Erin Stewart. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. I guess I have to get used to being called that, don't I?
Well, yes, you do. You also have to get used to some other things that I'm going to bring up that may make you uncomfortable, but in fact, they're a fact. You are the mayor of a major city in Connecticut. You not only did you win, but you apparently brought along a number of council members. You only had 2 before. How many do you have now who are Republican?
Now we have 5, and we are currently in the midst of a recount for 3 more seats that I have the potential to pick up. We have a recount for our citywide alderman. One of my candidates is down by only 20 votes, and then another one of my candidates is only down by 4.
And yet I was reading in an article, definitely there should be a recount, Your Honor. Yeah. But yet I was reading an article in the Hartford Courant talking about putting their best face on in a bad situation, but you can hardly believe it. Even though you won, the Democrats say the city of New Britain still believes in the Democratic platform. I find that very hard to believe. You campaigned, everybody knew what you campaigned as a fiscal conservative who wanted your town. I mean, you could hear it in your voice. You campaigned, you ran for mayor at 26 because you love New Britain.
Absolutely. And, the message that we brought to the voters wasn't of partisan bickering. It wasn't of any partisan issues in nature. It was about putting good people forward to lead the city into the future. Oftentimes people get caught up in the dirty politics and the name calling and, the things that we just don't have time for, that the average voter doesn't care about. They care about seeing their city succeed. And I think that's the message that I brought forward over the last 6 months is I don't care what party you are. If you care about the future of New Britain, I care about getting you elected to lead us.
And you ran on a very specific platform. You believe in fiscal responsibility. I mean, you want your city. Look, my hospital, the hospital I have chosen freely, not by President Obama, but I have chosen freely, is in your city, the Hospital of Central Connecticut. So that says a lot about New Britain. I love New Britain. I think New Britain's great. I think you have one of the better hospitals in the state. I think you should be very proud. I think it's a great city. It's going to be even better, I'm sure.
I think so, too. New Britain has a lot to offer, and I'm very excited to start marketing our city to a lot of different investors and bringing businesses in and trying to bring back our downtown. Grow that grand list, lower the taxes to make it more affordable for our residents to live here. New Britain has the second highest tax rate in the state of Connecticut, and oftentimes we feel like we don't have anything to show for it. So I want to make sure that we have a good marketing plan to bring lots of fruitful investors into our city and get us back up and running again.
So you actually do have a plan. And by the way, you have a very contagious smile, so I imagine it's going to be very easy for you to bring some of these businesses in. Instead of sitting across from some, cranky old man like me, they get to sit across the table from someone like you and believe in your spirit and in your passion. I think that's what I like so much about your candidacy. There was so much.
Hope it works.
Well, I hope so, too. Now we're going to talk about some things that are going to make you feel a bit uncomfortable. You are the mayor, the Republican mayor of a very important city in the 5th District. We are going to have a very important race in the 5th District coming up in November, and you are in a position to help that candidate, whoever it is. This is a key victory, I think, for the GOP. Your election is a key victory for the GOP.
I suppose one would look at it that way. I just looked at it as I worked my hardest with my people down here in New Britain, that my team that I put together, I haven't looked at the bigger picture yet, except for thinking about New Britain.
Well, now I'm going to make the picture even bigger for you. There are going to be a lot of people who are going to look at the way you won in what had been a very solid Democratic city. and they're going to look to you to be a leader of the GOP in the state. So you might find yourself being considered for more than just, not that just is just. I mean, New Britain is a big city to be mayor of, but they may be looking to you in the future for other offices, such as congresswoman or senator or even governor. So you should be prepared for that. Your victory is a major victory. You got to remember that, Erin. Your Honor, I apologize.
That it is, but I think that it was just about the grassroots effort that we did. We ran a different type of campaign here in New Britain that hasn't been seen in many years. I was able to bring in a lot of young people doing, the door knocking, the phone calling. The energy and enthusiasm that we brought to the table was really, really what did it, and it was the dedicated volunteers that we have. And I think that should be a model for all campaigns, to be able to bring in all sorts of people from all walks of life. To give an hour or two of their time because they care about the future of the community that they live in. I think that's what's most important, is to take a vested interest in the future of where you live.
Erin Stewart, Connecticut's Ronald Reagan. I mean, you do sound like you brought in Democrats, you brought in Republicans, you brought in independents, you're a fiscal conservative, and yet, as you said, you care very deeply about the people of New Britain. And that, to me, sounds like, I'm paying you the highest of compliments here, Mayor, that you are indeed the Ronald Reagan of Connecticut.
Thank you so much. That's an honor to be called that.
And you can tell your father I said that, too. Your father was mayor, correct?
Yes, he was. For 8 years, he was mayor of the city, so I grew up in the environment. I know exactly what I'm getting myself into, and I have some great people to turn to when I may not know the answer.
Well, I think it's great. I wanted to congratulate you personally and know that you are one of my heroes, or heroines. I have to keep this politically correct. And one of my heroines, and congratulations to you. Good luck on the recounts. And tell your father I said hello.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I will. Take care.
Thank you, Your Honor. Have a good day. We'll see. She's still not